the suspended 2 chord, the sus2 chord, or suspended 2 chord. We're going to start off with the key of C. This is your C scale. Again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same as a 1. Okay, so I'm going to take the 1, the first note of your scale, the third note of your scale, and the fifth note of your scale. That makes up a regular chord. So since we're in the key of C, we call it a C chord. But since we're doing a suspended 2 chord, instead of the 1, which is your root note, you're just going to use a 2 instead. Okay? And that will be a suspended 2 chord. And that 1 that you took out of your right hand, you can leave it there if you want to. But most times when it's a suspended 2 chord, you want that 2 to stand out. Since it's a suspended chord, you want it to stand out. But if you really wanted that C in there, you just put it in your left hand bass. That's how you would do it. Which even if you, most cases it's just going to be in your left hand anyway, in your left hand bass. But if you're just playing chords, you don't necessarily need to have it. But if you're one of those musicians that play bass with your left hand, or if you play it on the organ or what have we, then you're going to want that C in your bass. Okay. So basically, a suspended 2 chord just simply means substitute the 1 with a 2. In other words, instead of 1, 3, 5, the numbers for a suspended 2 chord would be 2, 3, 5. That's all you got to do. Then that technically right there, that's your suspended 2 chord. You could do that do these letters in any order. Sometimes I'll take this D here or the 2, and I just move it up. I might let me see, how do I do this? Sometimes I'll move the D way up here. Sometimes I'll leave it there. It's totally up to you. There's no one right or wrong way. In fact, I do it this way a lot of times also. Okay, now let's do another key. Let's do the key of C sharp, D flat. So here's the D flat scale, same as C sharp. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to stop there since that's all we really need. And I'm going to use the 1, 3, 5. Now the 1, 3, 5, that's just a regular C sharp chord, a regular D flat chord. But now we want a D flat suspended 2. D flat suspended 2. So that just means, what did we say a suspended 2 mean? It means to use a 2 instead of a 1. So if we did our scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 1, 2, your 2 would be E flat in this case. So that means instead of 1, 3, 5, your numbers are going to be 2, 3, 5. And therefore that right there will be a D flat suspended 2. And sometimes they use a sus2 for short, which would be D flat sus2. And that D flat that's missing here, you can put it in your left hand if you want to. In your bass if you're playing. It depends on if your left hand is playing bass. Okay, let's go to the key of D. I'm going to do the D suspended 2 chord, or the D sus2. Here's your D scale. Okay, I'm just going to use the first 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since we only need 1, 3, 5. That's a regular chord right there, just a regular D chord. It's going to be 1, 3, 5. But we don't want a D chord. We want a D suspended 2 chord, a D suspended 2. So therefore, instead of, what did we say suspended mean? Suspended 2, because we know suspended 2 and suspended 4 is not exactly the same thing. Suspended 2 means to use a 2 instead of a 1. So in other words, this 1 moves to a 2. And so instead of 1, 3, 5 from the D scale, you're going to use 2, 3, 5. Okay? And then that D that's missing, You can leave it there. You can add it there if you want to and call it an added to. It's totally up to you. But I'm not going to put it there. I'm just going to put it in the left hand. And the reason why I'm putting it in my left hand bass is because, and I don't want it with this chord here, is because you can, but the reason why I take it, I'm just me personally, is because I want this suspended to really stand out. I mean, this is sus2. I want it to stand out, so I don't really want it clogged up with this root note that's here. So instead of the root note being here, I'll just put it in the bass. Okay, let's do one more. I'm gonna jump all the way to the key of let's try the key of A. So here's an A scale. Remember, I'm in A, not A flat. So here's A scale. Okay, I'm gonna use the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 1, 3, 5. That's a regular A chord, but we don't want a regular A chord. We want a suspended 2 chord, A suspended 2. So therefore, you're going to use, instead of the root note, which is your 1 or your A, just move it to the number 2, which is take the 2 out of your scale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's your 2. So instead of 1, 3, 5, you would use 2, 3, 5. Okay, that's a suspended 2. You can put the A in there if you want to, but I like for the suspended to stand out. So therefore, I'm going to I want to hear the A in there, so I'm just going to put the A and bring it way down the octave to separate it from the rest of the chord. And so that will be a suspended 2 chord. I love to teach, so I'm just going to do one more, and we're going to do the key of A flat. Here's an A flat scale. Okay, I'm going to do here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we said a suspended 2 means to use the 2 instead of the 1. So if we have 1, 3, 5, just think about your regular A flat chord and just move the root note, which is a 1, move it to a 2. So you're going to use a 2 instead of the 1. So 1, 3, 5. Instead of that, that's a regular A flat chord. You're going to make it 2, which is a B flat, which would be 2, 3, 5. So basically in a suspended chord, you're only moving one note. In this case, it's a suspended 2. So here's a suspended 2. I mean, it's a regular chord, which is A flat, and just move the root note. It's the only finger you got to move. Just move it from a 1 to a 2. And just think about whatever your scale is, a 1, 2. Okay? That's a suspended 2 chord. Be blessed.